Welcome to part 3 and the last and final stop of our honeymoon tour. So today we are headed to La Meridian, and as you can see, we are trucking our way right back through the airport because, like I said in the previous videos, in order for you to get from resort to resort, you have to actually go back to the airport and take your form of transportation to your next resort. And so we are at the airport, and the coolest thing about La Meridian is that they actually have their own little lounge area. It's like a private lounge for individuals that are going to be going to La Meridian. And so rather than just waiting in the airport for your form of transportation, you can go and hang out in the La Meridian lounge, which actually happened to be pretty decent. And so they had snacks, their own bathrooms, waters, drinks, they had sandwiches, tea, any coffee, anything that you kind of wanted. And so we pretty much just hung out here in the comfortable furniture and waited for our seaplane. So now we are making our way to the seaplane. So you had to walk quite a little distance to get there. And so the thing about La Meridian is that the only way that you can get there is via seaplane because La Meridian is pretty far off from the main island. And so we were kind of thrilled, but not really, because us and little planes just don't necessarily mix. But taking a seaplane means that it cuts your transfer time in about half or in a third. And so that's the only exciting thing about taking the seaplane, is that you know it's going to get you there faster. But yeah, we're not that pressed about it. A quick note about the seaplanes. So apparently the seaplanes have a different weight limit requirement for your luggage, and it was written somewhere, but apparently we didn't see it. So we ended up having to pay almost $200 extra to take all of our bags on the seaplane, in addition to the fact that all of our bags didn't come on the same seaplane as us because they actually ran out of space. So we had to save 2 of our bags for a later trip, and so we got them later. It was no problem with it, but just note that if you are going to have to take a seaplane, to double check the weight requirements for your luggage, because it's not the same as it is for your flight. We have finally made it to the seaplane, and as you can see from this clip, it is tight in here. It is tight, it's hot, it is not the most comfortable ride we've had, but it got us there safely, so we have no complaints. We have made it to La Meridian. We did actually make a stop on the way at a neighboring island to drop some people off, but we made it here safely. The island is beautiful, and now we are headed to our check-in process. So here we are just taking a tour of the grounds, and she is just pointing out where everything is, such as the restaurants and any of the activities that they have. And so far, the thing that we can notice about the La Meridian that's different from the Ritz-Carlton and the Sky Lagoon is that the La Meridian has a lot more foliage. And so later, what we learned from the resort manager is that when they built this resort, because it's fairly new, they really wanted to maintain the true essence of the island, and so they didn't cut down many trees. They pretty much left a lot of the things that were there on the island and essentially like built around it. And so what you can see here is that there's a lot more simplicity. So the Ritz, there it was simplicity as well, but here it's a lot more simplicity in the sense that you are really consumed by nature. So lots of like birds and foliage and plants, and so it was really nice to just kind of take in all that the island has to offer. So one of the things that we learned while on this tour, and I don't know if you guys are as curious about this as we were, but the employees of all of these resorts, they stay at the island. And so because these resorts are on these really small islands and they're spread across the Maldives, the employees don't necessarily have the capacity to go back and forth from the resort to the mainlands every single day. And so they stay at the resort. And so there's like little employee quarters where there's like apartments where they stay and they live, and they don't live with their families. They live with other employees as their roommates. And sometimes they're able to travel back and forth on the weekends if they want to see their family members. We are finally pulling up to our overwater bungalow after about a 15-minute tour of the resort. Okay, so we've made it to our final resort here in the Maldives, and we are at La MERIDEN. And so as you can see, we're in another overwater bungalow, right? And it goes further a lot, so there's a lot more bungalows that go this way. But we are right here. So here's our space. Now, La MERIDEN is a fairly secure hotel. And so this wing that we're on actually, I think just opened maybe a couple of months ago, which is nice. So the rooms are brand spanking new, which I like. So I can't really say like how long they're gonna stay like top perfect, but when you walk in to our right here, we have a mini bar. So we elected for a half board here, which means we get breakfast and dinner included. It's not all inclusive, and I don't even know if it was all inclusive if you could have access to the mini bar, but basically we get water, we get tea. These things are kind of like an additional price. And when you open it, there's an additional mini fridge here. So you can have the still drinks, I believe, but anything with alcohol, you have to pay for. There's glasses here, snacks here, and there is also a drawer at the bottom for some hard liquor. So that is the mini bar. We come around this way, and I guess the best travel hack for your honeymoon is stay at multiple locations, because we just keep getting happy honeymoon stuff that's complimentary. So they said happy honeymoon. Our bed looks nice and plush. And then they also gave us champagne here. So champagne, this is a first. Most of the things that we've gotten have been like a little heart shape. These are kisses, so that's a cute difference. And free complimentary champagne for our honeymoon. So when we are here, we get to look out from my bed to this amazing view. And so we have another, what do you call this thing? Another net, I guess, not a hammock, but whatever you call it. But this one is a lot bigger than the one at our last spot, so you can kind of just lounge here to catch some views. Apparently the water is not that deep today, and you can see some cool fish at night. We've seen a few kind of like floating around, but we'll get to see some more later today. I don't think there's any down there right now. But the view is also nice. We are on the sunrise side of the villa, so that's nice. We tried to switch over to the sunset, but they wanted to charge us extra.
and that's just not something that we were interested in doing. So when you come back in, I will show you guys. I like this. This is nice and cozy. The other spots we've been to haven't quite had this, but you walk in and it's like a little closet. And so you have your space for your luggage, a full-size mirror, which is nice, and an iron. There's a safe that's behind me here, which is cool. If you come this way, we have the toilet. So a private room area for the toilet, always a fave. I hate it when hotels do not have a separate area for the toilet. It just makes more sense when you're in such an enclosed space and you're with another person. Like if someone wants to use the bathroom, you can still have full function of the bathroom. This is also nice. I'm sure I'm gonna take a good use of this before Donnell will, but it's a nice vanity. So you can do your makeup here, your hair, whatever you need to do. And you're out of the way. You're not necessarily in the midst of everything else. The bathroom is huge, and I would say it's probably like one of my favorites. I kind of have a rank in bathrooms in my head. I won't put that on this video, but the bathroom is huge. Another double vanity, which I love. I love the walls too. It's very funky. It kind of gives you like island vibes. It's very playful, which I think is good for a hotel. I love the tissue box and the things that the hand soaps are in, so that's cool. But then if you can see, you can walk out here. But also, this is a cool feature. You can open this up and you can see whoever's on the bed or whoever's in the room, and you can have nice full-blown conversations. Out here, we have a huge tub. Another rain shower, which is a good thing for us. We like the rain showers because it's more spacious. It's not the same as just like a little small single heads, but I love that you can still access your views from the tub. This door opens also. And so if you wanted to kind of be in the tub and also catch some cool air or fresh breeze, you can do that as well. And that's pretty much it. That's our room tour of La MERIDEN. We're probably gonna do some rankings because we've been not all over the Maldives, but this is our third spot. So we'll kind of like rank to see which one is our favorite. I got a pretty good idea, but I gotta try the food first because that's kind of like important. But that's it. We'll upload some videos of the food to see how we like that, and that's it. Peace out.
Here is a look at the breakfast buffet that we have available to us every day. It was decent. I don't necessarily have any true complaints. I will say that this is the first spot of our 3 resorts that has served a bunch of pork. There was like pork everything, pork bacon, ham, all kinds of things, but the quality itself of the food, it just wasn't our favorite. The resort itself is pretty small, so there's not many things to do really, but here is one of the pool bars, and this one is an adult only pool bar, which was cool. And the next thing that you will see is they have this cute little outdoor movie area at night where you can come sit on some beanbags and watch whatever movie is playing. They had a Disney movie playing, which actually was pretty good. I really want to finish seeing the rest of it, but just haven't come across it yet. Here is a look at some of the things that we ate. Our critiques about the food here is that you can tell a lot of their stuff is naturally sourced. So there's not a whole bunch of like preservatives, because that's another part of this resort's MO, that they really want to make sure that they source as many things as possible. So you can actually see on the resort they have different greenhouses where they actually plant and grow some of their own things. So the quality of the food for that purpose was really good, but we just we felt like there wasn't a whole bunch of options of things. But what they did have was pretty good. It just wasn't a bunch of options. So we only spent about 3 or 4 days here, can't quite remember, but on our last day we had an early seaplane that left at about 5 a.m. and the resort was kind enough to leave us a bit of breakfast before we headed out so that we didn't leave on an empty stomach. But that is all, folks. That is part 3 and our final leg of this honeymoon tour. Thank you so much for watching. Farewell to the Maldives.